everyone. In this video, we want to talk about a concern that was raised by a friend of ours during the meditations.
Yes. She inadvertently was distracted, is how I like to say it, by a few dark things that came in during the meditation and took her off the path that this meditation was being led on. This does happen. It can happen. It is unbelievably important to do protection before you do any of the meditations. This one happened on the seasonals. And what these things ended up doing was they added to the meditation. They hijacked a certain part of it, changed the totem energy that she got when she was actually doing the meditation. It was afterward, and gave her new ones to put in, except for one. It hijacked Josh's voice.
Yes.
However, it changed his entire mannerism when it did it. He got louder, much more aggressive.
Yes.
When things like this nature happen, in any of the meditations and any of the stuff that we put up, always stop what you're doing immediately. Do your protections, restart from the beginning and go through it completely like it's brand new. Can't urge the need to do that. As you're doing these things, you attract celestials, both light and dark. Like going to a cabin, going outside at night and turning on a porch light. Everything comes in.
Yes. Yeah.
And you need to understand that there are certain things out there that don't want people doing these. For thousands of years, the dark have had a firm grip, essentially, on how this is taught.
Right.
Most of the books that are out there eventually will go dark. Most of the programs eventually go dark. They don't tell you that in the beginning. They lure you in, and then boom, they get their hooks in you. Once they have their hooks in you, it's unbelievably difficult to get rid of them.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They strengthen them as they go, and as I said, they hijack. They hijack the good, positive connections and replace them with themselves. They're able to do that because of free will. Unfortunately, we have the ability to allow them to do this. And there's nothing that the light stuff can do about it if we are willing them the ability to do it.
Right.
That's one of the issues. The programs we're working on is about faith enhancement. Again, not religion enhancement. I want to make that clear. Religion is how you express your faith. Your faith is a belief and a feeling that you have. So Christianity is the faith. Catholicism, Baptists, Lutheranism are the religion that goes along with it. There is always a business side to a religion. That's the part that will always, at some level, be corrupt. It has to be, in order to exist in the world, it has to think about not just the faith and enhancing the faith of people. It has to deal with the business side, being able to exist in the world. Yeah. Otherwise, it'll go out of business. They need to keep people coming in. They need to keep people in the doors. They need to do things to draw people in. It's that aspect. That's the issue. On the other hand, religions are not bad. I don't want people to get that connotation. They're not bad. There's nothing wrong with religion and being a part of religion. It provides fellowship. It provides structure. It provides interaction, social interaction with others that we need, and spiritual interaction with others that is needed.
Right. Yeah.
That in itself can help at times keep your ego in check. That you don't know everything because somebody's just come up with something that you never thought of. Not to mention the fact that when we're alone, we end up messing up in our own minds generally.
Right. Yeah.
When you hear people say you need to get out of your own head, That's exactly correct. You need to get out of your own head. There are some people who need religion, some people who don't. From my experience, most people need some sort of a religion. There are a few that do not. It's just the same as people who go to work. Some people need a structured place to go to work. Others can work from home. More people that I know need a structured place to go. Because when they start working from home, things start falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to separate. And then you get lazy and you start watching TV or YouTube or whatever you're, all these distractions out there.
Right.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and you're gone. Okay. Now, the dark stuff will also try to distract you and stick you into what I call pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And they can shove you into pockets, and those pockets can last for years. One of the best ways, especially if you're on our particular template, this template is practical. If you've gotten to the point where all you're doing is theoretics, you're in a pocket and you need to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Practical is the point. It's the foundation. Our stuff is more science-based. It's more based on math. It's based on ancient spiritual principles. And these are the course that we follow. These have been put down for thousands of years. And all we're doing is showing people a way to work them.
Correct.
This is for
Correct.
faith enhancement. This is not a religion. I want to make that clear too.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a religion. We do use a Judeo-Christian umbrella, but that's because Judaism was the first religion that really used an umbrella over all the other religions on the planet. It doesn't mean that if you're a part of a different religion, you can't use this template. You can. You're just going to have to take out the things that we use and put in the things that you do. Now, we don't work with dark ever.
Right.
We don't
Yes.
teach dark people. We don't do workshops for dark practitioners. Sorry, we don't. I've done enough managements to understand what the dark is, and there's nothing positive about working with them at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. They're parasitic. They feed off beings. They use hosts, and then they feed off and connect out to everything that the host's connected to, and it destroys everything around. There's nothing good whatsoever about them.
Mm-hmm.
They're like grace drug addicts, and they suck it from us because we have the free will to give it to them. So we're like the crack pipe, so to speak.
Right.
They need
Right. Yeah.
to get their fix. So there's nothing beneficial about it. They don't care about us except as far as being able to use us as a pipe
Right.
to get their high or a needle or whatever you want to call it. But that's why we don't work those paths. There's nothing beneficial about them at all that I have found in anything that I've done. And in the banishments that I've done, I've never had one that turned out well as far as the dark connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's increasingly difficult when you're dealing with people who reconnect.
Mm-hmm.
And again, codependency, things of that nature. That's how it feels. And this is on a spiritual level. So it's almost like having your best friend ripped away from you. And you will unconsciously go out and try to get it back and attract it back in. And then it reconnects and bad stuff starts happening again. That's got to stop. And it's unbelievably difficult to do that. And that's why I don't ever work with a dark practitioner. I've had them come to me and I just don't, not to mention that they usually don't feel real great when they're around me.
Right. Yeah.
Because of the stuff, the energy that I'm using, they don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So they move on. Or they get sick and need to leave the room. Things of that nature.
Right. Right.
But again, because of what happened with this individual, I want to make sure work the fundamentals. This is what they're for. They're to get you to a point where you can visualize and have the control over your visualizations to go on a led journey and go where you're supposed to go, where the person who is facilitating it is leading you without your mind coming in and taking you somewhere else. If you are ever in one of these meditations and you end up going off somewhere, stop immediately, do your protection, start over, go through the meditation. Doesn't mean that you can't ever go off and do your own kind of those meditations where you're just free falling and going wherever. There are some people who facilitate those. But do your protection before you do one of those things.
Absolutely. Yes.
The stuff that's out there will pretend to be good when it's not. And by the time you figure out it's not good, usually it's got its hooks in, and it's unbelievably, like I said before, hard to get them out once they're in. They don't want to. It's like allowing, a meth user to move in with you, and to them, you're the meth. You're never going to get rid of them. I mean,
Right. Yeah.
without an unbelievably hard amount of work. They will also try to affect things around you. You don't want that either. And the worst thing to do is isolate yourself because that makes their connection stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you try to isolate yourself, there are spiritual connections to people that they use. They don't need you to physically be connected to someone.
Right. Yeah.
That's the problem. And then if you want to spiritually kill those connections, it's a horrible feeling. It's horrible. Especially when you talk about fellowship and you talk about interaction, social interaction, spiritual interaction, you need that.
Mm-hmm.
All people need that. Otherwise, they completely will take control of you. And that's no way to live.
Right.
It is no way to live because they'll kill you.
Mm-hmm.
They'll deplete you and then completely and kill you and ruin you. And that's not a life anybody wants.
No, absolutely not. Yeah.
So again, do the protections before you do the meditations. Get them done and make sure that you're going where you're supposed to on the meditation. If you have to, do it. You don't have to do it twice. Listen to it. Go through it again and make sure that's what you did. Especially if you're in the beginning.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all I've got on that. For this time. You have anything to add?
I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
So
this was a little more of a serious one. Sorry. But these things will come up every once in a while. And we want to make sure that we give you feedback on issues or any problems that you have, and try to help others who may be having the same thing and have a contact with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us, and do remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.